Zaslow legitimately came in here today with an observation that made me wonder, where have you been for 35 years? He comes in today and he's like, Michael Irvin is crazy, huh?
He had his own intro Saturday night. He came out the tunnel before the smoke. He came out the tunnel with everyone lined up. He gets his whole intro on the Jumbotron. He loves Hurricanes. And not just Hurricanes football. Because remember, what was it? I think when the Canes were in the NIT final like 7-8 years ago, nobody loves anything the way Michael Irvin loves the University of Miami.
Well, go ahead and put in the corner of the screen the jump cut of Michael Irvin's just general behavior during the game, because everyone should have former NFL alums that care about the school the way this guy did. I do remember when he was with the champion Dallas Cowboys, Michael Irvin would call his old dorm room number, just knowing a football player would pick up, and start yelling at them about how they were supposed to be playing football. He didn't even care who it is that was answering it. He just wanted to scream at them.
Doing push-ups.
Yeah, of course. He's always doing push-ups. And that game was encouraging for a number of different reasons. But chief among them, to me, it has been a really long time since I saw a University of Miami football team that could survive its quarterback having a bad football game against a good defense or a great defense. That would have been done better before the show. Thank you. That's good. That's good to put that there now, though.
Dan,
video covering it. No one knew.
Video covering it.
It was actually a good job.
It was actually
Job
phenomenal.
on the video team. Yeah.
Head on a swivel, pal.
One person did a bad chair, so you're pointing it out.
Yeah.
The Miami Hurricanes playing against the Florida Gators. I know there will be people who have their criticisms because that game shouldn't have been close. I really thought after the first half that you can make the observation, I could give Florida 1,000 plays and make the football field 5 yards long, and the Gators will not score a point in this football game, because it's not just that the Hurricane defense is violent. It's not even just that the Florida offense is awful, which it is. The thing that I'm seeing out of the Hurricane defense that I haven't seen in a good long time is the side-to-side speed that doesn't allow anybody to grab the corners on them, because they have a lot of speed on the field. So you saw the way that they can lose a football game this season, because Florida should not have been in any way in that football game. And I imagine, Mike, that you were yourself when you're up 13-7 and the Gators are, inside the 35-yard line in the fourth quarter, and mystified, I imagine, at how that game was close.
I'm not mystified. I thought that I was touting Florida's defense entering that game. I thought it would be tight early and then Miami would pull away. And that's what happened. I was upset at the interception. First off, I thought Cormani McClain was excellent that game. I thought their corners were excellent on our receivers, but Cormani made a great play on that ball, and really wasn't so much the interception as to where the interception was. I'm like, that's probably the first time they crossed a 50. I know that they had just scored, but look, that was a total supreme domination. They were 0 for 13 on third downs. Pro Football Focus said that was the worst pass blocking performance in the history of Pro Football Focus by 24 points. The Miami Hurricanes defense is incredible right now. And say what you will on DJ Lagway, he does seem broken. He had 5 picks the previous week. All 5 picks that he had were entirely his fault. 4 of the 5, he had good protection. This is not a bad Florida Gator offensive line. In fact, if you watch the content that PFF puts out there, is like, we still understand this Florida Gators offensive line to be good. Top end in the nation type of good. That's all about Ruben Bain. That's all about Akeem Mesidor. Players that were here last year but looked different. These guys have slimmed down. In Ruben Bain's case, he is healthy. He had a bit of a sophomore slump last year, and this year, honestly, there isn't a more dominant player in the country right now in terms of winning your individual assignment, play in, play out. He deserves Heisman.
It was clear, given how he played his first year and how he's playing this year, that he was hurt last year, because that was not a regression. That was not a sophomore slump. That was somebody who didn't have his explosiveness, did not have his strength because he was hurt. And the Hurricanes have I'm gonna say they've got at least 4 first-rounders that I can identify by sight. 2 of them on the offensive line. One of them not the center, who had, I believe, Brockemeyer had one of the worst games I've ever seen a center have. When do you ever notice the center?
Mike was so mad throughout the game
It's
at
amateur.
the center. He was so mad.
It's amateur, and the last 2 weeks, like the opponent have found something on tape and being able to coax Miami into these procedural penalties. But I'm right there with Dan. Miami presently, I think, has 4 first-rounders. Markel Bell was never really talked about. He's like, if this guy meets his ceiling, he could
so
be
strong.
He's
bigger than
6'9".
everybody.
He was a transfer, came over last year, and this is a testament to the development. Now, look, that is a body type that most offensive line coaches would dream of working with, but he was not at a big-time football school. Football relatively new to the young man. 6'9", put out dominant tape. This guy put himself in top 20 draft pick consideration. You got CeCe Mao and Noah. You got Ruben Bain, of course, and Carson Beck, who was coming off a pretty bad game for him. He was off all night. I will say,
how much did the rain, wet ball affect
you
him?
were out there.
Right?
He hasn't played in good weather yet this season.
No, he's played in a month-long monsoon. In
that
uniform.
was terrible.
But I will say, like, there is a narrative online that keep in mind, there's a young man that had a elbow surgery. There was a little less zip on some of those passes. I think that you could probably blame the weather a little bit, but I'm not too worried.
How does Michael Irvin have the energy?
I don't know.
I wonder.
Passion for the game?
Let's do the Hampton Farms Nuttiest fan because
How are we going to beat this guy?
We've got some nominees. We've got Michael Irvin. There are a number of nominees locally. Chris Cody was very jealous of Mike Ryan this weekend because
That's an understatement.
Mike Ryan was tailgating with how many of the Panthers, the 2-time champion Panthers? Paul Maurice is going to join us here, champion coach, at some point during the show. Mike, how many of the Panthers were you tailgating with?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
More than 5?
Six
Players. 6 players and a couple of the staff. They were great.
I should have been there. It's my wife's fault. We don't have to get into that.
Let's.
No, I don't want to.
Why bring it up?
Chris did get an invite.
I got an invite. I
turned
should
me
have
down.
been there, and I had plans.
What'd your wife do?
We had plans for months with friends. It was a fun time I had, but I hated life. I saw pictures coming in, and I hate life. And those are Nutty fans. They were having fun. Every video and picture I saw made me want to be there. But let's get to more nominees. It's the Nuttiest Fan, brought to you by Hampton Farms, the official snack nut of the tailgate. Vote for your favorite Nutty fan at LeBatardShow on Instagram. And keep an eye out for Lucy at Arkansas if you think you're your team's Nuttiest fan.
Well, who are the nominees? We've got Michael Irvin. It's going to be hard to beat Michael Irvin.
We got Mike and his crew partying with the Panthers. I just have to nominate them because of how jealous I am. And then we have 2 signs from game day. We have a Jonathan Zaslow special, which is
Thai food. Look at that guy.
Okay, so what happened there, Zaslow? You were doing part of your campus tour not on campus. You were doing, what are you laughing about, Cody? What's up?
That somebody would hold a Thai food sign. It's
Well, you know, they want to be part of the trend, the worldwide
Thai
trend.
food.
now, granted, that does look like one of those signs that you can like keep erasing and updating for people.
It's a
I'll
whiteboard.
bet that was never erased,
No,
though. You do
that's-
that in permanent marker.
Those are the college game day signs. They hand those out.
Okay.
So they're
All right, my
sponsored by the Home Depot. Yeah.
gotta- you
He's
gotta-
going to have that for life, that guy.
You got to elongate the word Thai, though, don't you? Has to be T-H-A-A-I.
Could have been written better.
Yeah, minimal effort on actually writing the Thai food sign.
Don't
but once,
criticize that great fan. Thai food.
That cannot win this competition just because he held up a sign.
Sure it can.
Wearing.
It's up to the voters.
None of those can win yet.
Voter suppression.
No,
sounds
Michael,
probably
Michael
gonna
Irvin.
win.
How about that one?
And
Bangkong
yeah,
Pinga.
and then we have this one. You guys are going to have to help me out with this one.
It says Bangkong Pinga y se acabó el pan, which means bread with dick, and we're all out of bread.
That's right. That's what you're getting.
That's the winner.
Dick sandwiches.
I go Michael Irvin.
That's a repeat from the
Yeah,
last time
that's
game day was here, though, if we're going to be honest.
Yeah, that's a great callback. That's nostalgic.
I mean, that should be on repeat forever.
Dick with bread.
I want to
more
talk,
bread.
though, about what it is that the Hurricanes are, because I would not object too much to anyone who said right now that they don't have a quality win, although I expect Notre Dame to be number 1 in the next rankings. They got snubbed in these, but I expect them next week to be number 1 when they climb to 2-2. But here's Greg Cody writing in the Miami Herald. The Canes team I've seen the first third of this season is the best all-around team I've seen since the glory days, the championship era. This team will make the playoffs and with a huge chance to do major damage in them. This team, yes, I'm saying it, has what it takes to win UM's long, elusive, is it that elusive? Long elusive sixth national title, the first since 2001. It's crazy that Miami can say that they've got 5 titles and a chance at a 6th, but this team does look complete because of what I was saying at the beginning. If you told me all coaches since Coker were playing against a great defense, because that Florida defense is a championship caliber defense,
Yeah.
and their quarterback had a bad game, they would not have been able to drag a team the way that they dragged Florida. Because I know that the game felt close, because it was in the fourth quarter. It was 13-7. There was a terrible whistle on one play, but I was legitimately confused at how that game was just 13-0 at the half. And I was legitimately confused that it was close in the second half, because I really did think that the Florida Gators would do nothing offensively all game, because that first half that I saw from the Florida Gators was sheer incompetence on offense, and they might be bad on offense. Mike is saying their offensive line is grading out well, but I did feel that was done to them by not just a fast defense, but a violent defense. Like these are hits being put on people that I did not see. I'm going to say there were more violent hits in that game. And again, when an offense is that constipated and lacking confidence, you can do it to them. But more violent hits in that game than I saw from the Hurricanes all last season when they couldn't play defense.
They had 32 yards of offense in that first half. I don't think they had a positive play until like their 5th play. So many 3-and-outs over there.
I don't think they picked up their second, first down until late in the third quarter.
Yeah, it was the second half for sure.
I think Mario Cristobal deserves a lot of credit for fixing that defense. And that was honestly last year the worst defense I had ever seen wear Miami uniforms, and they wasted a championship-level offense. In previous years, I think Miami gets away from the run game and keeps trying to make the passing game. Hell, last year, I think they probably get more enamored with the idea of trying to get Cam Ward a Heisman. This is a really good Miami team. I know it was tighter, but we've been on the receiving end of those. We've been up against elite Florida teams, elite FSU teams, an elite Clemson team where Miami's defense puts up the effort and then the offense goes nowhere, and then by the end of the fourth quarter, you're down 21 points. The spread in points was not that much different than last year's game. Dan is right when he says there was a bad whistle. The officials themselves went up to Mario Cristobal, explained we shouldn't have blown that play dead.
What was their explanation? That they didn't see the ball?
So there's a couple of narratives online. Samson Okunlola's, who's developed quite nicely, by the way, his helmet came off during that play, but he was not the ball carrier. In college football, if it has nothing to do with the play can roll on. The referees told Mario Cristobal, look, we just missed that call. Marty Brown did not stop moving. And if that game is 20-0 and you get Florida in a predictable passing situation, that game gets really ugly.
I was very frustrated that they were only up 13-0 because I thought they could just keep handing the ball to Fletcher and moving the pile to make instead of they had so many punts at the end of the first half where they had the ball starting at the 50-yard line and they end up going backwards.
That was a really quiet 116-yard game from Mark Fletcher. And I think it was quiet because more than half of those yards came as part of a pile that was just moving, physically manhandling a Power 5, a Power 4 program in Florida that has good line play along the trenches. They've improved over last year.
But to be fair, they had 3 guys out. Okay, 3 starters along the defensive line out.
Very impressed with Florida's corners. There was not a lot of separation.
There wasn't.
Which is probably an argument to get JoJo Trader and Josh Moore a little bit more involved in the offense, and hopefully they can rise to the occasion because Miami does need a little bit more separation there. But there were some check down options available to Carson Beck. I kind of like that he was deep shot hunting. Something happened in that USF game where he realized I like my chances downfield. There were open check downs, and sometimes Carson just missed either low or high, or in our tight end's case, they weren't ready for the ball at all.
He was bad.
Bad.
Carson Beck was bad in that game.
His accuracy was way off.
Yeah, I think he's afforded a bad game there. Usually if your quarterback plays like that in a game like this, that's the recipe for the team pulling off an upset. And instead, we see a team kind of stay in, hang around, and you saw Miami step on that throat and salt the game away. They had a huge play by Marty Brown that was big for Carson Beck, that one-handed catch there. That's the stuff that breaks away for good championship teams. I came away very happy because that's kind of the game that I thought would happen, and Miami got tested in there, and doesn't have to be victims of a rat poison for 2 weeks as they head into this FSU game.
Well, this is the kind of game we've all seen Miami lose in the past, where you have a lead, you seem to be in control, then all of a sudden it's 13-7. The lead has whittled, momentum has shifted a little bit. Again, in the second half, there was a time when it seemed like Florida was still in the game. Instead of losing that game, like they have so many times in the past, they rose up. And I can say nothing bad about this team right now. They deserve to be number 2 in the country behind Ohio State or Penn State, whoever you think. But I tell you what, last year they had a bad pass defense. They solved it. Last year they were imbalanced because, like you say, they wanted the Heisman for Cam Ward. This year, not just Fletcher, Marty Brown has been great. Malaki has been great. Malachi,
yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, you mentioned the 2 running backs. I would argue Jordan Lyle's our best running back. He turned his ankle early against Notre Dame. We've been holding him out. He's going to have to bye. He'll be ready for FSU. Those are 2 of Miami's best 3 running backs. You can make a strong argument that Jordan Lyle's actually RB1.
Fantastic team. And okay, I'm the homer. I get it. I'm the homer in the room.
You are.
But in this case, I can't praise Miami enough. I think they're an airtight.
Are we sure it's not Malaki?
Malachi is a biblical name.
It is Malachi.
It should be
misspoke.
Malaki.
Yeah. I apologize for misspeaking.
It's okay.
No, apparently it
Doesn't
because
seem to
everybody's
be.
laughing.
Yeah,
but that's
everybody's
okay.
mocking
I'm
that.
used to that.
I mean, Malachi's funny.
Greg, I hope you know I was an ally. I corrected you quickly and I moved on to the running backs. For them to stay here is really disrespectful to a legend like you.
I'm used to it.
Yeah.
Let's make it a running joke. Let's say Malaki and replay it and just make fun of that one thing the whole show. That would be
He hasn't
customary.
been the same since he lost that soup competition.
Well, that was rigged.
Yes.